Y'all ready? One more time. What up, car kid? What up? Woo! Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Then we shake it off. Doot, doot, doot. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing this morning? It's your boy Bugatti NYC, and it's Saturday the 19th. That's right, y'all. 2025. I'm your host, Bugatti NYC, and this here's our bottom line, where we be talking about this and that and that and this and this and that and that, and we be talking about this and that and that and this and this and that. Just got me pissed. What's good, everybody? Saturday morning, we back at it again. Made it another day above ground. How's everybody doing out there this morning? Let me get this camera right. I want to see who's up in the building. Who we got up in here this morning? We got Batty Lynn chiming in from Detroit. That's right. Batty Lynn already know how it go down because she's been here for a while. So y'all know what to do when y'all chime in. I want to know where you chiming in from so that we can keep on getting content from where you're at. So when we have these conversations, it could be relevant. How everybody doing this morning? Like I said, I slept well, got up, did some extra editing, got some more stuff going, so I made sure that we was on point today so that we can keep up with stories that we had going on earlier in the week. We can do follow-ups. We can talk about these tariffs. We can just keep going on with our daily topics and making sure that we're staying on point with our current events. That's what we do over here. Hopefully everybody's already subscribed, already a member. Hope you guys had a good sleep this morning. Last night. Whoever got to go to work this morning, feel sorry for you. But whoever's off, take me in the room, wake them up, wake them up, wake them up, wake them up, wake them up. Y'all already know how we do it over here. I'm already up, so we got to keep it moving, y'all. Who else we got up in here? Car Care says, YouTube rather send late notifications instead of early. The computer age. Yeah, that's how it goes down. Good morning, Gotti. Good morning, Car Care. Hope you're doing fine this morning. I saw you had a little turbulence going on yesterday, but it happens, and it happens to the best of us. Glad that you're back today and everything is going good. Rebecca, good morning from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hoping that you get your t-shirt because we definitely sent it off. But you know, just like Car Care says, the computer age, we're dealing with snail mail. So sometimes things take a little longer, but trust me, we already sent your package out. We really appreciate you for being a member here. Who else we got up in the building? We have Kevin, good morning. Where you chiming in from, Kevin? We definitely want to know where you chiming in from. That's a new person right there. Hopefully he becomes a member. I just want to let y'all know I'm ready to get to work because we have a deluxe pack today. We got a lot of stuff in the clip, so I got to make sure that I get ready and get you guys loaded up because there's so much that we really have to go over today just to do a lot of summations as well. Okay, I see she got the thumbs up. You can wait on that. It's definitely going to come. Kevin Martinez is from New Mexico. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for chiming in from New Mexico because, yes, that's what we do here. And we actually think we got some information from New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, probably actually on this episode, depending on where Mr. Gene Wilder lives at. But let's keep on going because I want you guys to see what we have in the thumbnail today because we have a lot. So let's get right into it because America and China, America and China keep on seeming at butt heads. They keep on seeming to butt heads when it comes down to tariffs, as well as trade war secrets and many things like that. And then, but because of that, you know, we have sub situations that we're going to get into right now. So let's do that. What do we have? Trump says China is not invited to the trade show. As you know, there's been a lot of public officials, presidents, people in power that have been coming to the Oval Office to sit down and discuss tariffs. We just had the Italian Prime Minister come in. Prior to that, we had other people come in from France. Also, El Salvador's president came in yesterday. So it seems as if a lot of people are coming to negotiate when it comes down to tariffs, except for one group. and that seems to be China. But there are hints that China may be ready for talks. We're going to get into that. Let's keep on going because we have much more in the subtitles, which is Democratic leaders meet with alleged MS-13 leader. Democratic leaders actually flew out to El Salvador to meet with this person here. I forgot his name. What is it? Alejandro Martinez. He actually was deported, and now we have Democratic leaders who have gone out to meet with him in El Salvador. There's been talk back, pushback, and everything. We're going to get into that. And last but not least, dun dun dun. What you know about going out red legs, all up on the TVs, all up in the headrest. Bad, 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 bad boy. Yes, yes, yes. Sean P. Diddy Combs is due back in court for pre-trial hearings. Like we spoke earlier in the week, there are now 5. That's right, guys. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I plead the 5th. 5 people now who have been bringing allegations against P. Diddy right here. And now the case has gotten much bigger. And also, like I said, his trial is actually coming up actually this next month, which is May. So look forward to that because we're going to definitely be covering that. Going to be doing some exclusive interviews with Gene Deal as well to see what he has to say about it. But last but not least, I don't want to hold anything up. We got some good information right now from the Oval Office. That's right, President Trump answering questions about tariffs, about what's going on and how we are going to be proceeding through this rough ride that we're now currently on. You guys love to talk about tariffs because why? It's about our pockets and we need to know what's going on with our money. So let's find out right now, guys. Again, when you chime in, please let me know where you're chiming in from because we love to get information from where you're from so that we can stay relevant with you. And then maybe next week or tomorrow might be able to find a clip from your city or state. So let's keep on going, y'all. Let's go.
Okay.
Mr. President, Secretary Rubio. Secretary Rubio said that the U.S. will have to figure out whether a deal can be done between Russia and Ukraine in a matter of days, or you will just move on.
Yeah, very shortly.
How many days is that?
Hi, my name is Jamie. I work at Popular Base, and I'm going to take you behind the scenes on how we work on influencer.
Thanks, Jamie.
No specific number of days, but quickly, we want to get it done. We're talking about here people dying, and we're talking about over there people are dying also, like on average 2,500 young people, soldiers. They're not from America. They're not from anywhere else other than Ukraine and Russia, but we want to save these lives. So it's 2,500 a week are being killed in battle. It's a vicious battle with the best equipment, the best everything, and it is brutal. 2,500 young people a week. Some of them not so young, actually. They're getting older. They're getting older by the month. But 2,500 a week, and we're going to get it stopped ideally. Now, if for some reason one of the two parties makes it very difficult, we're just going to say you're foolish, you're fools, you're horrible people, and we're going to just take a pass. But hopefully we won't have to do that. And Marco is right in saying it. We want to see it end. Think of it. Every day, a lot of people are being killed as we talk about, as they play games. So we're not going to take that, and we'll see. I think we have a good chance of solving the problem, however. Yeah.
What do you need to see? Are you prepared to walk away completely from these efforts and these talks?
Well, I don't want to say that, but we want to see it end. We want to see it end, yeah.
Is Vladimir Putin stalling, in your view, Mr. President?
I hope not. I'm going to let you know about that soon if he is, but I hope not. He's got a big force out there, big force. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president. That's a war, and it didn't happen for 4 years. That's a war that should have never happened. October 7th, Israel would have never happened. Iran was broke, and now we'll see what happens with Iran. We have a lot of them out there. We have a lot of things that we're working on right now that shouldn't have happened. None of it. Ukraine would have never happened with Russia. October 7th would have never happened, so you wouldn't have had all the problems in the Middle East. The Afghanistan embarrassment, probably the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, would have never happened. Inflation would have never happened. By the way, prices are down. Groceries are down. Eggs, which you hit me so hard, I'll never forget the first day, first week in office, they were screaming at me about eggs. I said, what's going on with eggs? They were doubling and tripling. I said, I just got here. They were up like double, triple, and you couldn't get it in. They said, you won't have eggs for Easter. Well, you can have all the eggs you want. I'll tell you, Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture, did a great job. And the egg prices are down 87%. But no.
Are you feeling a reflection of the egg prices? Let me know. I want to know where you're at and if you feel any difference in the egg prices, because we're trying to make truth. We're trying to see if this is true here. These are the questions that's being asked. Let's go. Let's go, y'all. Hit that like button. Hit that like button.
You can have all the eggs you want. We have too many eggs. In fact, if anything, the prices are getting too low.
Sir, what do you...
So I just want to let you know, prices are down. Gasoline yesterday in 3 states hit $1.98 a gallon. And it looks like it's at a level that it hasn't seen since my days, my 4 years. So it's about I'd say maybe, I think we're going to be averaging $2.25 very soon. So I just want to let you know, though, because I keep hearing about prices and inflation. Prices are coming down, not going up. Only the fake news says they're going up. The only thing that's even are interest rates. And if we had a Fed chairman that understood what he was doing, interest rates would be coming down too.
All right, again, I want to know about gas and eggs right now. You guys are in different states. Yesterday, you guys started to report. These are the prices over here per gallon. I want to know. I'm coming to the comments right after this.
He should bring them down. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, what do you need to see from both sides in order to keep negotiations going? What do you want to see from Russia and Ukraine?
I have to see, my whole life has been one big negotiation, and I know when people are playing us, and I know when they're not, and I have to see an enthusiasm to want to end it. And I think I see that enthusiasm. I think I see it from both sides.
Do you think Russia's playing
But
you?
you're going to know soon.
Do you think Russia's playing you?
No, nobody's playing me. I'm trying to help. You know, this was Biden's war, by the way. By me getting involved, you know, they'll say, oh, Trump. This is not Trump's war. This is Biden. This is a war that should have never happened. Okay? Think of it. Those cities are crushed and crashed, and all those beautiful steeples, the most beautiful in the world, actually considered the most beautiful in the world, most of them are now smashed to...
Okay, guys, we got to keep on moving because we got too much in the deck. President Trump, we appreciate that report. You guys heard a lot right there, made a lot of claims, talked about eggs, talked about gas. What I want to know if anybody is actually feeling the reciprocation from what he's talking about, because we got to move forward. We got the situation with these Democratic leaders, the senators that are flying to El Salvador to meet with the alleged gang leader, and we want to see what's going on with this, because this is something that I would never think that would actually happen, but they actually are taking flights. There's many different people flying out to El Salvador in order to meet with this person, as well as to see what's going on out there. Check this out. This is pretty crazy.
All right, Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen meeting face-to-face with suspected MS-13 gang member in El Salvador.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the latest for us. Hey, Maddie.
Good morning, guys. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen says he'll give more details about that meeting when he gets back to the U.S. Van Hollen posting this photo on X saying he's spoken to Abrego Garcia's wife and given her Abrego Garcia's message of love.
Fighting against MS-13 for probably longer than Donald Trump even heard about MS-13. They're trying to make this case about Kilmar all about MS-13. The judge in the case has said they've not provided substantial or any significant evidence to back up their claim.
El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele is mocking the meeting, saying in part, Kilmar Abrego Garcia has miraculously risen from the death camps and torture. He also suggests he's still not looking to release Abrego Garcia, saying he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody.
He said he gets the honor of staying. That was the president of El Salvador that says that he's not going to be releasing this person. I do not have any, I'm going to try not to have any personal feelings about this situation, but the president spoke himself. He said, if I would have let him out, wouldn't that be like me considered smuggling him back into the United States? This is the actual president of El Salvador speaking exactly on what I just said and what they're talking about right now. Because if he actually is let back into the country, that would mean that it would be probably illegal. So check this out.
The president of El Salvador, your questions about it per the court can only be directed to him.
I asked President
Bukele,
can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's only
how can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it.
When we touch here, maybe just try this, ladies and gentlemen.
You guys already here. We're stacking a deck for a reason.
Just do that.
We're doing all this for a reason.
I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you can release him inside El Salvador?
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into our
country. I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Mark, do you have something to say about
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want...
Do me a favor, you guys. I know you appreciate what's going on because we're in here very heavy this morning. We got 259 people in here. Don't run. I got something crazy going on right here. You people that's going to be like, oh, he stopped the video. We're out of here. If you leave, we're going to have a woosah, the regulars. You are going to miss some other big videos that's coming. I don't want that to happen. All we're asking you to do, all of the regulars, is double tap that screen, and what that does is it gets more people over here to see what we got going on. And we really appreciate that. We're not gonna ask for tips. We got some coffee and tea bags in the kitchen, so we straight on that. But if you guys really appreciate the content that we're putting out right now and have the great sense of community to come here, do us a favor. Go ahead and double tap that screen and get those likes up. Because me, I wouldn't be hanging out anyway longer than 5 minutes if I didn't like the place. So that means you guys like it here. Let's show it by double tapping that screen and show your appreciation. Thank you so much. Also, I would really love to know what you guys are going to have to say in the comments, because right after this clip, I got another banger coming, and I want to know, I'm going to come read all of your comments. You don't have to pay us for comments. That's how our show continues to go. But I want to stack the comments so I can read everything that you guys have to say. So let's keep on going.
Foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Well, Mr. President, you said that if the Supreme Court said someone needed to be returned, that you would abide by that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago. And they said that it must be facilitated.
Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? Why do you go over and over? And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You have no credibility. Please, go ahead.
President Trump, thank you very much. How many illegal criminals are you planning on exporting to El Salvador? And President Bukele, how many are you willing to take from the U.S.?
As many as possible. And I just asked the president, it's this massive complex that he built, jail complex. I said, can you build some more of them, please?
Wow.
As many as we can get out of our country that were allowed in here by incompetent Joe Biden through open borders. Open borders. You probably hear open borders and you can't even understand it because nobody can understand. Nobody smart or with common sense can understand it. So we have millions of people that should not be in this country that are dangerous. Not just people, because we have people, but we have millions of people that are murderers, drug dealers. They've been allowed to come into our country by other countries that were very smart when they heard that this very low IQ president, and by the way, I took my cognitive exam as part of my physical exam, and I got the highest mark, and one of the doctors said, "Sir, I've never seen anybody get that kind of, that was the highest mark." I hope you're happy with that, although they haven't been bugging me too much to take a cognitive, but I did do my physical and it was released. I hope you're all happy with it. I notice there's no question, so probably you are. But the cognitive, they said to me, "Sir, would you like to take a cognitive test?" I said, "Did Biden take one?" "No." "Did anybody take one?" "No, not too many people took them." I said, what about Obama? Did he take one?" "No, he didn't take one either." I said, "Let me be the only one to take one." But I've actually taken them 3 times already. I like taking them because they're not too tough for me to take.
So I don't want to stay on the subject of your cognitive test. You real good about that. That means that I'm basically trying to tell you I know what the hell I'm doing. I have my wherewithal. But let's get into Gilmore Abrego Garcia. Is he a MS-13 gang member? Does he have any charges? Does he have a history of violence at all? I did some research and we found out this. This has nothing to do with a video. This has absolutely nothing to do with context. Context, yes. I will basically have to show you guys this myself. This is a breakdown that I found. If you guys want to check this out, there will be a link in the description for you guys to see. This is at dhs.gov. News, the real story. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is, and this is alleged from us, is an MS-13 gang member with a history of violence. This is a release date April 16th, 2025. We hear far too much in the mainstream media about sob stories of gang members and criminal illegals and not enough about their victims, says Secretary Noem. Washington, the mainstream media has peddled a sob story about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The fact is, he is an illegal alien from El Salvador, a MS-13 gang member, and has a history of violence. Here are some fast facts that we have right here. One fast fact is, when Garcia was arrested, he was found with rolls of cash and drugs. It says he was arrested with 2 members of MS-13. The gang, it says Mara Salvatore 13, members, associates, and the member. Click was the Western's member status is active. Moniker is Chele. That's basically his call name, which is spelled C-H-E-L-E. Chele is his name, allegedly, in the MS-13 gang here. We also have more information with the vehicle that they got stopped in, the classification they were arrested, what they were arrested for, and it says on about 3/28/2019 at approximately 14:27, Detective such and such at Hyattsville observed 4 individuals loitering in a parking lot at the Home Depot located in 3301 West Highland. Okay, let's see what happened. They found several, 2 of the individuals reached into their waistbands and discarded several unknown items under a parked vehicle. All 4 individuals were stopped by Hyattsville officers. Detective Blank immediately recognized that this person had AKA Bimbo as a member of MS-13. So he recognized one person, Christian Hernandez, AKA Bimbo, as a member of MS-13. 2 small plastic bottles containing marijuana was located at the scene. All 4 individuals was transported back to the district for interviews. Okay, what else we got? Okay, I just want to keep on skimming through this. We got, officers also interviewed Gilmore Dominguez. During the interview, they observed tattoos of skulls covering their eyes, ears, and mouth. So this is basically like the affiliation with him actually being around and being caught with MS-13, which actually basically corroborates the fact that he is hanging out with MS-13. We've got their descriptions of what they were wearing and everything. We've got last names, all of this information here. We've also got number 4 says 2 judges found that he was a member of MS-13. That finding has not been disturbed. Intelligence reports found that he was involved in human trafficking. He is an illegal alien from El Salvador. The subject freely admitted being a citizen of the National of El Salvador by birth and that they were present in the United States illegally. So all four of them admitted that. The subjects were not in possession of any immigrational documents that would allow them to remain in the United States illegally. Okay, he claimed fear of being returned to El Salvador because he would be persecuted by MS-13 rival gang Barrio 18. You cannot be persecuted by a rival MS-13 gang called Barrio 18 if you're not a MS-13 member. Okay, we've got more information over here with Jennifer Vasquez's wife petitioned for an order of protection. This is another case where she claimed he punched her, scratched her, and ripped off her shirt and bruised her. Okay, these are two cases right here that is going to be in the description. Just wanted to let you know that the gentleman, the man, does have a criminal history as well as domestic violence. So there's not just one thing where they're associated with them being together by getting caught in that Home Depot with the other members of the MS-13. They actually corroborated the story in other areas for another case. And then we have another one here, which breaks down to a domestic battery charge against his wife. That in itself is enough to get you deported. I know a friend of mine, boop, one punch, 7 years, straight up. That would happen, especially in New York. They're very sensitive to stuff like that. So we're not talking about a person that does not have, that has a clean history. And I'm not trying to say that this should be enough to, to put them, to send them and get deported. What that determination comes from is a judge when they get all of this information and pull it together. I'm gonna click this down. I'm coming to the comments. I wanna know what you guys have to say about this. We got a lot that we already talked about. The deck has been stacked. And yeah, this is the part where I come to you guys. There's so much more here, by the way. There's so much more in these cases about this person here. And of course, that's his mugshot from another case right here. That's the mugshot from right there. So let's keep on going. I want to know what you guys have to say. No, says Araba. What we got? He very well could be horrible. He still gets due process according to the Constitution. What else we got here? Donovan says, duh, and what was your question? What else we got here? Valentine, okay, we're going to keep on going. The Swamp is still holding that info. We got to keep on going. Car Care says, gangs hate individuals like me. Jose says, is the man. What else we got here? No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment of injustice or grand jury. This man has already been to court, you guys. It's already been determined that he has to be deported. And he has other prior cases. And you guys got to understand something. When you have prior cases as someone that's here illegally, you get deported. He's not here legally and he's catching all these charges. What are you guys talking about? Do y'all not understand that part? What else we got? We got thank you for this information. We got culture is gang. You will soon learn. I hope Trump's third term goes as good as his second. Barbara says get him and put him in jail, says Barbara. What else? We got criminal gangs only persecute other gangs. Nonsense. Right, so he don't want to go back because he's scared that they're going to get at him. What did you do over there? Lauren says love of Elon. We got Logan. You can't be a member of the game. They're claiming that you're in if you're a rival, right or wrong. Big Dog, I really hate to say it, but it's going to need an Asian or white lawyer. Jose said, who defend MS-13 members? We got, if you don't stand up for the stuff, you won't have to wear real pants. Donovan says, where's these Epstein files going? Somebody gave a tip. I saw that. I want to give them their love for that. So let me get up here. Appreciate you guys for that, no matter what it was. I don't see it. Did they take it? Let me stop. I know they didn't, but there we go. Thank you guys. Who's that? That's Job T. Really appreciate you, Job T. ORG for the $5 tip. Thank you guys. You guys should be more like that person and tip big. Just give a bunch of money right now. I'm just messing with you. But what I would appreciate, because we don't really go for that, we want to make sure we get those likes up because we are going to keep on going. I hope you guys got a little good clarification of the person that we're talking about because, of course, a lot of times they show you one side of a person. They don't show you everything. Woosah, that was a lot of talking. Let me keep on going, you guys, because now we got a situation where the Supreme Court, they could limit the power of these crazy liberal judges with this upcoming decision. I want you guys to see this right here. Check this out. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We cooking this morning, ain't we? We doing our thing this morning. Let's go.
The Supreme Court is poised to make a major decision that could set limits on the powers of district judges. This comes after 3 federal judges issued separate nationwide injunctions blocking an executive order by President Trump to end birthright citizenship. Here to discuss is constitutional lawyer, attorney, and former federal prosecutor Katie Cherkowski. I think this needed to happen. I mean, when you're looking at some of the numbers right here, when it comes to these national injunctions, you got 12 in Obama's total 2 terms. You got 64 just along in Trump's first term, Biden 14 overall, and then we're already reaching, as of March 27th, 17 in this second term of Donald Trump. What do you think the courts are going to do?
I think it's very important that the Supreme Court look at these nationwide injunctions that these district courts have been issuing, because essentially what these courts are doing is they're exceeding their authority. A court can typically only issue orders and bind the parties that are before it unless you have some exceptions like class action lawsuits that are properly brought before the court. So inevitably, I think the Supreme Court will have to recognize that this is far exceeding the judiciary's authority, much like a lot of what's been going on recently. So the Supreme Court is the arbiter of that. These district court judges, until they get an order from the Supreme Court, they'll continue to do that in some of these cases.
Why can't it be common sense? I mean, you only run, let's say, Ohio. How the hell can you run policy in Delaware? Think about it. Who are you to do that? Unless you got something like what she said. Like a, what they call that thing, a class action, because it covers more than one ground. And even then, you got to bring that in to get married. Keep on going, y'all. That's nothing. That's all I wanted y'all to see. Sometimes it might be a clip just to prove a point, just to get something out, because I want to have something to talk about, because that made what? Common sense. These judges are always trying to step outside of their lines of what they're supposed to be doing and their responsibility. No, 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 no. If you're in Idaho, or Indianapolis, or St. Louis, how about run policy there? Stop worrying about what's going on over here, because all they have to do then is source these judges that they know that's going to do what they want to do. That's not right. That's not the way that you run government, and that's not the way that you actually, that policy and law and legal should be run. Shouldn't be run like that. I'm in the comments, y'all. I want to know what you guys got to say about all this stuff. Big Dog says public defender vibes. Okay, I'll probably get somebody off too. They are federal judges. Yes, but for their district, YOLO. Only for their district. How can they run policy in other places? Northwest says, quit projecting, Donovan. Let them project. Kendra Walker says, I meant job for 9. Appreciate you. Good morning, Kendra. Good morning, Kendra. Good morning, Kendra. Jose Rodriguez says, America first, baby. That's one of my favorite ways to say baby. Car Care, I know God and Trump don't care about me. I care about them, is my power. Car Care, you're bugging. Are you a bot? What's going on with you? Donovan, so sick of ignorant MAGA. Edward Mail says, I thought America was going to bomb after the terrorists. I thought America was going to bomb after the terrorists. ZZZ Bliss says, Trump was on video at a party with Epstein. Ooh. Jose says, God bless America and God bless Donald Trump. Okay, Jose. Nice words, nice words, nice words, nice words. Okay, the flaws in your argument is threefold. Original case did not determine he was MS-13. He was accused by agent who was later brought up on charges and fired for proving or providing false information. We have a pushback here with Herbie who wants to be heard, you guys. Go ahead and read what Herbie got to say. He has the floor. Sigrid said hi. What else we got? Look up Trump and Epstein. Okay, we did that already. Trump doesn't care about, okay, just keep on going. Ghazi, why would Trump even talk about the Epstein files? We're not talking about Epstein right now. Come on, get on topic, y'all. I'm not reading anything that does not have to do with titles here. Appreciate you guys for commenting, but we're not swinging that way because you're not going to be able to take me there. I don't got the videos to support what you guys are talking about. We'll do Epstein, but let's talk about Epstein when I got Epstein up. Because we're going to move on, because I got Rubio is up right now, who's talking about Ukraine and Russia and how the U.S. are about to abandon talks. Same thing that Trump was basically saying just now a few minutes ago. They're basically getting fed up and they feel like the talks are not going anywhere.
I think it's important to remind everybody that the Ukraine war is a terrible thing, but it's not our war. We didn't start it. The United States has been helping Ukraine for over the last 3 years, and we want it to end. But it's not our war. I want everyone to understand that. And the reason why I make that point is the president has spent 87 days at the highest level of his government repeatedly taking efforts to bring this war to an end. We are now reaching a point where we need to decide and determine whether this is even possible or not, which is why we're engaging both sides. As you know, Ambassador Witkoff has had not one, not two, but 3 meetings with Vladimir Putin to determine the Russian perspective on this and understand what it would take for them to end it. We, General Kellogg, myself, and others have had repeated engagements with the Ukrainians. So we came here yesterday to sort of begin to talk about more specific outlines of what it might take to end the war, to try to figure out very soon, and I'm talking about a matter of days, not a matter of weeks, whether or not this is a war that can be ended. If it can, we're prepared to do whatever we can to facilitate that and make sure that it happens, that it ends in a durable and just way. If it's not possible, if we're so far apart that this is not going to happen, then I think the president's probably at a point where he's going to say, well, we're done. You know, we'll do what we can on the margins. We'll be ready to help whenever you're ready to have peace. But we're not going to continue with this endeavor for weeks and months on end.
So guess what that means, you guys? If they're not interested in continuing with this endeavor for weeks and months on end, when it comes down to negotiating the peace talks, what does that mean for Ukraine when they don't have javelins or missiles or certain things like that when they come back to us talking about, we need missiles. Can we buy missiles? Can we buy this? Are we going to be involved in that part? Because it's basically like saying, yeah. So now is Ukraine out there like this by themselves with their chest open? That's just a question that I want to know. What's going to happen to Ukraine now if we're not going to be giving any peace talk support? Does that also mean that we're not going to be giving any military aid? Are we going to sell them some weapons possibly? That's a question that I want to know about. I'm in the comments real quick. What you guys got to say? Let me see. Ask Rubio what he has said about Trump suddenly. He's Trump's lapdog. These villains have been possessed by the great evil. What else we got here? I like that comment because you said what you really wanted to say. So like I said, good, your business is doing good, but my business will be bankrupting along with many other small businesses owners. I know, so take that in for consideration and don't be Trump. Totally understand you, man. It's real out here. I got you, Donovan. I love Big Women said Russia could win that war against Ukraine with a fleet of old P-51 Mustangs from WW2. Ukraine has no air defense. Real talk. That's why they needed those missiles. They're trying to use, that's all that they have to strike back. And the sad part about it is they don't even really have radar or anything like that. So what's going to happen? They have to do after the fact bombing, trying to hit those planes out of the air. Man, listen, but you got to understand something. It's war or be taken over. Because once Ukraine is taken over, goodbye Zelensky. Dun, 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 dun. You got Russia, Ukraine over there. Now all they do is eat up all that land. The same way that whatever land they claim, check this out. When you go over there and you take over a certain territory, now that's Russian territory. So guess what? Now the United States is negotiating with Russia for what used to be prior Ukraine land for mineral rights. Yeah. So that means that since Russia's already over there fighting and they took over certain land, there's minerals on that land. So now Russia's like, we'll sell you those minerals because Ukraine don't want to sell them to you. So now this is a real shifty business here, y'all. So that's the minerals. And then I just talked about the weapons. Does that mean that if he comes and say, hey, I got $50 billion, I need to buy some weapons from you guys, does that mean that we're not going to sell them to Ukraine? I just want to know. These are questions that I have and why I come here, all right? Y'all come here for a reason. I come here for a reason too. I come here to ask questions and play clips and follow up with you guys and do my job by stacking the deck. You guys do your job by playing it right, letting me know who to get the HNIC up out of here and making sure that y'all stay on point. So I want to know what you guys think about those two topics because that's two things. Will we sell them missiles if they ask? I want to keep on moving right now because we got this press briefing with Carolyn Levitt, and I want to see where your heart is at right here. I want to see how many people are going to leave. I want to see how many people say, oh, this is not action going on. I want to see how many people really have a heart right now because we've been talking about MS-13 gang members. We've been talking about bringing them back. We've been talking about, how they should have their due day in court and things of that nature, even if they're illers and murderers and apists. You don't care about that, right? Let me see where your heart is at right now when Carolyn Levitt brings up a special guest. Let's see how this goes. See how many people run or just want to talk about the tariffs and certain stuff. Let me see where your heart is at. Let me see. I want to see where your heart is at.
Of common sense or empathy for their own constituents and our citizens. Nobody knows this more than the woman standing to my right, Patty Morin, whose beautiful daughter Rachel was brutally maimed and murdered at the hands of an illegal alien in August of 2023. Patty no longer has her daughter because of the failed Democrat Party's open border, and these are policies that President Trump is bringing an end to. Patty should not have to be here today, but she is, and we are grateful and we are honored for her willingness and her request to share her powerful story with the world. Thank you, Patty, for being here.
Thank you. A lot of you don't know the whole story about Rachel and about the crime that was committed against her. Even us, her family, we didn't know all the details. They kept most of it close to their chest, the detectives, because they didn't want to do anything to hurt the case. They wanted to keep the integrity of the case, so they kept everything close. I sat for the last 2 weeks in her trial, and we saw layer upon layer upon layer of evidence against the accused, an illegal immigrant from El Salvador. And the things that we thought, well, maybe this might have happened, we didn't know, but when we were at the trial, we got all the puzzle pieces. And I want to share some of those things with you.
If y'all got the time.
You know that Rachel's a 37-year-old mother. She has 5 children. We've walked the trail for the last 25 years that we've lived in Maryland. It's a safe place for our family. It's where we go to get a little bit of New England, because that's where we're from, New England. When she went on that trail that day, she was not planning on dying. She wasn't planning on walking to her death. She was planning on going to the grocery store with her girls afterwards. Victor Martinez, he waited for her. He waited for her to come closer. He saw her. He saw that there was nobody around. He attacked her. He dragged her 150 feet, blood gushing from her head. It left a 150-foot trail of her blood to the culverts, where he picked her up, he threw her against the wall of the tunnel, and he raped her. But before he did that, he stopped on that trail, and rocks, still stained with her blood.
We've got passion, we've got determination. Like, and if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
Terrible place for a commercial, you two. Stupid.
He used them to hammer her head against those rocks. They say at least 20 times they could count the cuts in her head. They said that when they did the autopsy, and I've seen the pictures, there's a 6-inch square in the back of her head where the skull is shattered the way that you would crush an eggshell in pieces. 3/4 of her brain hemorrhaged. Her right and left side of her face bashed in. Her beautiful face bashed in. Her head bashed in. Broken bones, fractures. He takes and he drags her some more. He drags her through the thorn bushes. She has all the scrapes and cuts on her body. There wasn't 1 inch of her body that didn't have some kind of injury, whether it's bruising, broken bones, contusions, the scratches. She had a fractured rib, fractured nose, fractured skull. And then he takes her into the tunnel and he picks her up. He throws her against the wall. Blood is gushing from her head. Her hair is soaked in blood. And they showed us pictures of her body against the wall, outlined. The blood outlined her body. And you could see where the blood ran down around her as he was raping her. And then he threw her down and raped her some more. And then he strangled her because he didn't want her to be able to live to tell the story. They said that when they did the autopsy on her neck, that one of the things they do is they open up the neck and they look to see how far the injury is. And it went all the way down as far as an injury is possible, hemorrhaging in the muscles because of how strong and violent the grip was around.
Do y'all want me to keep playing this? Do y'all want me to keep playing this? Because we definitely saw enough, and I'm not thinking about no likes or nothing right now. Just thinking about, do you guys want to keep on seeing this? Because it's going to be a couple of, maybe a minute more, or I can keep on moving forward because we got more to do. But this is up to you guys right now. Now, y'all running the show right now. Y'all telling me what we're going to do. Okay, one person says no. This person says no. Chris says no. So you want me to stop it now? All right, all right, all right, cool. All right.
Around her. These are the kind of people that have...
I just have to make a point because, of course, all of them are not like this, but the ones that are, we don't know. We don't have no idea at all who's coming over our borders. And this is like a trail that they always walk in Massachusetts with her family, that something horrible like that happened. You guys, that's why I'm not for the illegals being here, especially unless they're vetted. We need to really know who these people are. I'm going to keep it straight just like that. I want to know what you guys got to say about this. What we got here, making the lib turds melt and dry. Who did this? Question mark. We need a better vetting process. And Jeff says, illegal did this. Yes, Jeff, yes. Ronaldo says, that is ridiculous if what he did. Yes, it is. Donovan, somebody, anybody. John, what John says, what about Trump's, come on, man, you out. Bye, stupid. Out of here, talking about Trump. You out of here. What else you got? Standing, what do you mean black people did this? Ain't nobody say nothing about black people did this and you out of here too, just by trying to start something. Ryan says, I don't know, citizens do have some rights. Constitutional rights are not dependent upon citizens nor residency. What else we got? Just paradigming here like a clown. Okay, no, we have enough. Okay, illegal caused this. Yes, they did. Kendra, sorry to see this. I know. Okay, all right, I stopped it. Donovan says, anybody who is MAGA, okay, we're going to keep on going, y'all, because we got Trump who's basically holding this tariff meeting, and it seems as if he's isolating China right now. Getting back to the numbers, you guys, I want to try to warm the scene up again, try to get up out of that. We got to keep on moving. Don't worry about it. We're gonna have more on that. We're gonna follow up on everything that we do. We do this every single day. It's always follow-ups, and we always make sure that we keep current events in our clips here. You appreciate the content that we're showing you right now. All we ask is that you double tap that screen because we got much more in the clip. Right now we've got Donald Trump, who holds a key meeting at the Easter and Good Friday dinner, and he's basically talking about China here and much more. I want you guys to see this.
Past 3 months, and we have had a great 3 months. They say maybe the best 3 months ever for a president, and I think there's a whole new spirit in our country.
So there's the president making the case about America having momentum. He says world leaders are lining up to negotiate new trade deals, and another major partner is coming to the table. In fact, today, and another one tomorrow, and on we go. It's Thursday. Good morning, everybody. Live in New York. I'm Bill Hemmer. How we feeling over there?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
Great. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom. On this Thursday, President Trump is set to meet with one of our top European allies, the Prime Minister of Italy. So the two are expected to talk trade. This after yesterday's talks with the Japanese delegation. The president touting big progress out of that one.
So meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal is shedding light on the administration's strategy. It says the White House is using the talks to further isolate China, asking a lot of their trading partners to limit the dealings that they may have in the future in exchange for relief on tariffs and a good deal with the U.S.
I was worried about this, and yes, this clip is from Thursday, but you know why it makes a lot of sense to play this now? Because as you know, President Xi Jinping has been going around to other countries and reinforcing the China alliance. He's very smart in doing that. I never, very smart individual, I have to say. And this is to make you less reliant on another country. So what does he do? He goes over to Asia, he goes other places, might do a deal with Russia, do some deals with India, which they're really doing big trade with India right now, meaning that China is now manufacturing a lot of products for other countries instead of being so reliant on the United States. So he kind of like started doing this for a while now, which means that he doesn't have to be so reliant, which made it a little bit like, a little bit nervous, like, damn, if they're not really relying on us, they can really do this for a long time and they can really hold out. So that was my worry when it came down to this happening. So that was my major concern right there. So when you think of it in a sense of that being the case, when you have all of these other alliances, you don't have to worry about, oh, America, if you guys don't want to buy from me, I'll go over here. But the smart part about that I wasn't thinking about was that next chess move. Bugatti, you got to think 5 moves ahead every time. Why didn't you think 5 moves ahead? So now when America does do these trade deals with all of these other countries that he has reinforced his relationship with, all they have to say is, so what's going on with you in China? I heard that you guys got something going on or whatever. If you don't do such and such, blah, 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 your tariffs are going to... So even though Xi Jinping has done all of these deals with all of these other countries, conversations can make that null and void, or at least come to a much less of a value than he basically intended. That's why I wanted to play this clip.
And House Republican Conference Chair Lisa McClain, she's on deck. But first, let's get to Alex.
Actually, I didn't even have nothing on you, Lisa. Didn't see you. I actually saw it up to there. I keeps it 100 with you guys. Y'all already know how we do. And I want to know what you guys got to say about that. Come on, we're talking about tariffs, talking about the money in your pocket, and talking about positioning. Because if you put yourself in the wrong position, now you got to stand against 3 people. Put yourself in the right position. Now you got alliances that can make you even stronger. What else you got here? What we got here? Fox isn't, oh no, we're not going for that. 1010 is a brand new person, but I'm going to explain something to you, 1010, because I've never seen you before, and I appreciate that you're here. Hopefully you stay. 1010 says Fox isn't a news channel. It's an entertainment channel. You're right about that, but what we do over here, 1010, and I want you to understand that, is this. We never kill the messenger. That's what we don't do on the bottom line. On our bottom line, we let the person rant and rave, right? And then we go check and see if that information is true before we just not even pay attention to them. If someone is screaming fire, you want to see if there's a fire. And then you want to determine how it happened, right? So let's check and see if it's a fire instead of worrying about the network. I get you on the entertainment part, though. Hopefully you'll keep on chiming in and you'll become a member. Thank you so much. Jeff says exactly. You're delusional. Oh, I like that one. That was a real good one. Drum Forever says appreciate you. Kendra says I'd appreciate you. Northwest Blessed is dying laughing. Carlos is 1010 is Fox an entertainment channel? Question mark. That's right, Donovan. Don't answer. What happened with Donovan? Edward says, thank you for being so respectful and gentle of these polarizing topics. Yes, I'm trying to be very open. Black 999C, always in the building doing their thing. Who you calling out? At Donovan Valentine. Tim Pool, stop making me defend Trump. Too many lies have been told about Trump. Okay, Natalie Georgievich. Good morning, Natalie. Keep saying the same thing, Tiny. What else? Drum Forever said subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. 1010, okay, and you free to express your opinion. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Edward Mendez says we end up paying for the tariffs. Okay, what else we got here? We got Jeff that says knock off the color talk. People, we are one race. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate the fact that you did that, because we don't even acknowledge those people, Jeff. You already know how we roll over here. Jeff already know. Marissa says nobody likes being blackmailed. Nope, they definitely don't. 1010 is doing the Fox thing again. That was old, because that's what you voted for, says Kavy. Woo! Now we're going to see somebody who's in I got it. Somebody who's in a hot seat. You ready? Who's in a hot seat right now, y'all? Who in the hot seat right now? Leticia James. Is she about to be prosecuted? I got a question for you guys. Do you think Miss Leticia James, Leticia James, I said Leticia James. Do you think Leticia James is going to be prosecuted? I mean, she did do a little bit of mortgage fraud and calling Trump out for the same thing that she allegedly did. What do you guys think about that topic? Let's get into it. Want to know what you guys have to say about it because we got more information on it from yesterday.
Joining me now, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, House Judiciary Committee Chair. Congressman, now given Leticia James's crusade against Trump, where no benefit, by the way, in that case, no benefit accrued to Trump, and choose this novel application of a fraud statute, shouldn't an investigation go forward here on a fairly straightforward issue?
Well, it sure seems like, and this may be the biggest irony I've ever seen in American politics, that she's now, it looks like she's engaged in the same thing she charged President Trump with. I mean, turns out you can't have your principal residence in Virginia and be the Attorney General of New York. Turns out you can't on a mortgage form say that your dad is actually your husband, and you also can't say that you got a 4-unit property that's actually 5 units. Those are the 3 things that it looks like she did over a long period of time, and yet she had the gall to go after President Trump. You got to be kidding me. So, yeah, I think this is real. We'll see. Her comments so far, she's been kind of quiet. Of course, she does a typical thing the left always does. The left will you know, they'll always accuse us of what they're doing. And the other thing they always do, the left will tell a lie. Trump did something wrong. Big media will report it. Big tech will amplify it. And then if you tell the truth, they call you names. And that's exactly what she did. I think she called President Trump and his administration bullies for simply pointing out that it looks like she lied on these forms, and she did it to get better terms and a better rate on the loans. So she was doing it for personal gain, and you're not supposed to do those kind of things.
Yeah, well, these are allegations, and we'll see what happens. But, I mean, she did, no one is above the law, so she should be welcoming any investigation into this. And, Congressman, Attorney General James is now asking for money in the midst of all this. She's launched a fundraiser in the form of an event next Tuesday calling for contributions starting at $500, going all the way up to $18,000, which is the maximum allowed by New York state law. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is you know, I guess typical activity from Leticia. Remember, she campaigned on that she was going to go after President Trump. This was a classic case of pick the person and go find the crime. Now, I don't think there was any crime there, but she did. Maybe the appropriate penalty for her, if the DOJ prosecutes, maybe the appropriate penalty for her is $350 million fine, because that's what President Trump had to pay, for goodness sake.
All right, y'all. I'm in the comments. I want to know what you guys got to say about this. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Car Care says, I'll give you 5 cents. 10-10, the Kool-Aid is being poured. Time for you to take a drink. Courtney says, what is all of this about? I just got here and am new to your channel. Also, I like your smile. Thank you so much, Courtney. Stick around. We play clips. Everybody get a chance to talk about it. You can just say whatever you want, just as long as you're not saying nothing too crazy. But we have a great community here, so you're totally welcome. Fred James, remember God's decrees, and I like this right, God's decrees and promises for Israel is always prominent. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Fred. That was dope. Drum or ever, she can't afford that. Greetings of peace and salutations, brother. Thank you so much. It's me, Candy Morgan says, deport everyone to heaven. Ooh, you bugging, you bugging. Courtney says, subscribe. Thank you. Talking about qualifications, Donovan says, was it guilt because they couldn't find anything, digging and firing, looking for $4.5 trillion for a tax cut? VIP Auction Group, good morning. Good morning. He says, they say, please double tap that screen. Y'all know what it is. Blue Diamond says, at Fred James, free Palestine. Kendra says, at Courtney, appreciate you. Rob B, what goes around comes back around again. Stud Dougie, is you with me? What goes around, I'm back around again. Copy, 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 copy. Here comes the pool, but I know you don't fake it. Hear the rums rhyme about getting butt naked. Goes around, comes back around again. That was a good one right there. Somebody said, what goes around comes back around again. Now, we got to bring the story down. Very entertaining about Miss Leticia James, but we got to go back on this seesaw now, because we got a situation here where they did a little bit of investigating into this shocking scene of the living conditions. Thank you so much for the tip, you guys. That was $10. Who did that come from? Want to get that known? Rob B. Rob B got paid yesterday. Friday night, party jumping, feeling right. Rob B got doom, 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 doom. Remember that dance that he was doing? Johnny, what was his name? Johnny Gill. He was like doom, 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 doom. I just got paid. Just got paid. Rob G just got paid. He showed your boy some love. Gave up that $10. I really appreciate that, your boy. Yeah, and I gotta show love to you, boy, because people don't do that. A lot of people ain't got it like that. So when people do, I really appreciate y'all. I see I put a dance on for you. I'm sweating bullets over here. Really putting on a show for you guys today. But it's Saturday and we alive. No excuse. I go put a tuxedo on just because we made it another day. I got to be happy to be alive. Don't worry about other people making you happy. Make yourself happy. Let me show you a cheat right now. Y'all ready? I'm going to show y'all a cheat, but you got to follow me at the count of 3. Do everything I say and watch your stomach feel much better. You ready for this? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Just smile. Watch. Watch, you're going to feel better. Watch this. Just smile. You ain't got to do nothing else. Just smile. Don't you feel better right there in the stomach? The power of the smile ain't no joke. You can do that for yourself anytime. Real talk. Let's keep on going, you guys, because now I'm going to bring it down. I had to get you ready for what's happening. Gene Hackman's shocking living conditions is here, and they're pretty bad. I see that tip. About to thank you for that, too. And y'all trying to get me to dance again. Y'all going to have me over here doing some Saturday Night Fever dances for tips.
He told you who this house is? Oh, no, I haven't gotten that far. Gene Hackman? The actor?
500 body cam videos, more than 700 photos. The startling new police images show a house frozen in time, a messy, cluttered bathroom, a bathtub filled with boxes, and scattered medication.
You guys look at those pills to see if there's some sort of thyroid medication.
We also see the death investigation unfold in real time.
I just want to make sure it's not like a gas leak.
Deputies go room to room and discover the Oscar winner's body in the mudroom of his Santa Fe home.
Feet. Oh, I see feet too. We see feet over here.
And this heartbreaking moment.
He's guarding her.
The dog?
Yeah, he seems pretty friendly.
The couple's beloved German Shepherd watching over the partially mummified body of Hackman's wife Betsy in the bathroom where she was found.
There was no signs of forced entry. There's obviously no initial signs of trauma.
Santa Fe authorities also discovered love notes Gene wrote to Betsy scattered throughout. One thanking her for dinner, another calling her a lovely girl.
I really have a wonderful wife.
Gene died of severe heart disease, and his 2 daughters share they hadn't seen or spoken to him in nearly a year and a half.
I've never seen anyone up here like their kids or grandkids.
And this is new. While Betsy died from hantavirus, a rare disease caused by rodents on their estate, she feared she may have had COVID. This is surveillance footage of her wearing a mask at a Santa Fe grocery store. Authorities also found this COVID test and an email canceling a massage appointment. The 65-year-old also ordered oxygen canisters from Amazon for respiratory support.
It's crazy because Betsy's a lot younger than Gene, and she's super healthy, man. She's a health freak.
We haven't had no contact with her for 2.5 weeks, and so I got concerned.
I didn't see anything that would think, hey, something's going on. She's always nice. He's just a normal person.
Yeah, so you guys can go online and see the whole story on Entertainment Tonight. I wanted you guys to see that. It was a great summation, and it basically told what they found at Gene Hackman's home. They found medications that had to do with thyroid. They found him in the mudroom where his feet were seen first, and then they kept on moving throughout the home, and they found the wife being guarded by a German Shepherd. Can you believe that? The dog was still standing next to her to try to take care of her, to hold her down. Dogs, man, that's why I'm telling you, dogs over people. You know why I love dogs? Because they ain't got no damn pockets. Real talk. Want to come to the comments to see what you guys got to say. Plus, I want to give some shout outs for these people for these nice and generous tips we got here. We got Jeff. We are one race. We need to unite, no matter the demographics or the political leanings. If someone tried to break into your house, would you let them stay? Dems defend your position, no insult, be an adult. I have to second that comment right there, and I really appreciate the 1999 tip, Jeff. Just so you know, I just have, everything that you said just hit spot on. We should start caring more about each other, as well as yeah, if somebody break into your crib, you definitely won't want to let them stay. That's kind of like the same thing he's basically trying to say. If illegal criminals basically come over here, are you going to just let them stay, take all your food in your refrigerator, all your resources and everything that you got? It's not going to be feasible because you can't even be able to sustain. It's just like when you're on the airplane. They tell you to put your mask on first, then you take care of the person next to you. Why? Because if you don't, you're worrying about them, you're over here like this, beep, flatlining. Jeff, appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you. What else we got here? We've got Eric says gifted to Bugatti NYC. That's a membership. We got a new member. That's right. We got Eric. Eric, what's your name? I can't say your name, but I'm gonna try to say the first one. Gifted Bugatti NYC membership. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you. What if somebody kidnapped you and then say, I'm not paying your ransom, but you can stay here? Ooh. Are you talking about this persuasion? And you talking about those ships that was shipped back over here? You guys really appreciate the tips and the super chats. Thank you so much. And guess what? We ain't nowhere finished. Like, yo, how long Bugatti got clips? How long was this guy up? What has he been doing? This all I do. I'm telling you, we got some real serious stuff coming up. Because now, I didn't even know that the people that work in the Chicago Transit Authority, they legally can carry guns, or is it illegal? Y'all tell me. Because there was these workers that was charged in a deadly pow outside of the station yesterday because they got into an incident at work. And instead of them just leaving it alone, they came outside, got into a heated exchange. Both of them went back and forth with each other. And one of them pow-powed the other one, and he's no longer here. And the police are calling it self-defense. I don't know if you guys know about this, but these are some transit workers in the subway in Chicago. Chicago, come to the front of the congregation, because this is for you right here. Check this out.
Now to new information about a deadly shooting near a CTA Blue station. A CTA employee now facing felony charges.
We're also learning more about what happened moments before that shooting.
Our Tara Molina is live outside the Cook County Courthouse where the CTA worker appeared in court. Tara, still no word from the CTA on this.
Erica and Joe, nothing from the CTA. And remember, all of this happened on Saturday evening. We confirmed via public records before this court hearing the man charged with a felony in this case is a CTA employee. He works for the city's transit agency. The family of the man killed calling for more transparency today. 61-year-old John Flemister shot in the head and killed Saturday evening outside the CTA Blue Line UIC Halstead station in what police called a shootout. He was on his way home from work.
He fought in the Vietnam War. He didn't been fighting for our country. He finally got to the point where he's living in the West Loop. He's living comfortably.
That's Flemister's niece, Sabrina Holton. She says her uncle was a veteran, a family man, and worked as a doorman at this West Loop condo building where she says residents adored him. They hosted a vigil in his honor this week.
They set that vigil up. We didn't set that vigil up. They the ones that went the extra mile.
24-year-old Luther Hopkins III is charged in the deadly shooting, appearing in court today, facing felony unlawful possession of a weapon charges. But after days of reaching the CTA without a response, we've confirmed Hopkins worked for the transit agency, according to public payroll records. He was a CTA customer service assistant. In court, prosecutors detailed an argument that continued between Hopkins and Flemister at the Blue Line station, where Hopkins was working behind the desk. The argument continued outside the station and on the pedestrian bridge, threatening each other verbally and with weapons, ultimately both firing shots. The judge said Hopkins acted in self-defense. Holton tells us Flemister's family doesn't understand why CTA spokespeople haven't said a word.
I didn't know that CTA station agents or whatever they call were armed.
Also telling me they don't believe the police description of the deadly shooting. telling me the police report says her uncle, a Floyd card and concealed carry holder, pulled out his weapon first after being confronted for not paying a toll. They're demanding transparency from the city and the CTA.
The story don't add up. It's been a lot of stories, and we want them to release the footage.
The judge ordering Hopkins have no contact with Flemister's family or the CTA, understanding he worked there. Prosecutors said they talked to CTA attorneys who supported no contact.
Now, this hearing just wrapped up. I checked back in with Flemister's family. They said that the fact the judge is calling this self-defense only doubles up their ask for transparency and to see the video in this case. The judge also ordering that Hopkins surrender his guns and Floyd card within 24 hours now. Still, again, no response from the CTA.
All right, y'all. So that happened in Chicago. Now we're going to go out to Toronto real quick because they acting up in Toronto, too. 2 people dead in Riverdale neighborhood.
Toronto police are searching for 2 suspects after a deadly double homicide. Jaden Lee Lincoln joins us from the scene in the Riverdale neighborhood with the latest details. Good afternoon, Jaden.
Hi there, Candace. Well, police continue to investigate what they believe is a targeted shooting that killed 2 men here in North Riverdale. Now, we spoke with the homicide detective. Here's what he had to say.
I get the sense from just the firearms evidence here that the shots appear to be, clustered, which might suggest a targeting. I don't believe that this was a random act at this point, but it's very early for me to speculate and to use the word target or ambush. I'm a little hesitant to do so.
It happened at Bain and Logan Avenue around 11:15 last night. Police say when they arrived on scene, they located 2 young men with gunshot wounds. One was pronounced dead on scene. The other was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead early this morning. The victims believed to be in their late teens or early 20s. Not much information other than that from police at this time. Now,
Toronto, Chicago, New Mexico. You guys been laced. It's bad news on some accords, but don't say that we don't make sure that we get your content out there, right? I'm in the comments, want to know what you guys got to say. Is that another tip right there? Let me read this one now. What y'all got for me? Oh, no, that's the old one. All right, thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much. Bill Andy says, conservative citizens, stop spamming. Okay, Car Care, please block all protests in this chat. Okay, I'm about to get conservative. Free USA from APAC. Conservative, you've been warned. Car Care can warn you, buddy. Donovan says, I'm not bitching and moaning other than the fact that this never happens under any other president, tanking the economy, the stock market intentionally. What else we got here? We've got Free Chicago from Socialism. What else we got? Car Care says, please block Palestinian protesting in this chat. What else we got? We got Black Free Palestine from Hamas, Black 999C. We got Singham Crooks says Free Palestine from Hamas. Y'all, a lot of y'all saying that. Car Care says please block the Palestinians. Wait a minute, y'all, who we got to get up out of here? Who we got to get up out of here? Kendra, let me know what's going on. I need you. I need you right now. Let me know what's happening because we still working. I'm definitely ready to come and get y'all up out of here, but I need my co-host to let me know who we really need to get out of here. Or we really need to get them out of here if they're spamming. Just let me know because we're on the roll right now. I don't want to stop because we got a lot of breaking news. Because right now we've got news from Donald Trump as he takes questions from reporters in the Oval Office. Talks about fish and how we're taking back the sea rights to fish. And he signed an executive order for this. They're basically trying to say that we have regions that Canada can come into, let's say in Maine, and get our lobster, but Maine fishermen can't even fish in those areas. So how can Canada come down and fish in our areas of our country and our own seamen can't do that? No pun intended. Let's keep on going, you guys. I want you guys to get this information. This was a new executive order that was just basically signed a day or two ago. Check this out.
I think we're expecting to move as quickly as we can. Yes, sir.
You know what you know exactly what we're talking about already, right? It's crazy. The regulation.
It is.
Secretary Lutnick is going to fast track that. I can assure you.
Howard, please. Go ahead.
Sure. So you just heard us, the economic zone around Hawaii and Samoa is huge, and it's exclusively ours. So why wouldn't we have our fishermen fish there? I mean, imagine saying our own fishermen, every country in the world, they all fish the 200 miles off their coast, and we were stopping our own fishermen from going off the coast. It's totally the opposite of common sense. That's why President Trump has changed it. Now let's talk about regulation. If you're not even going to let them fish, imagine the regulations that have been written to stop our fishermen from just surviving and thriving. We have the greatest coasts in the world with the greatest fishermen in the world, and we need to let them do their great jobs, raise and capture fish, bring them to our tables, have America have the greatest fish in the world, which we have, and then let them export all these other countries, right? They stop us from exporting. That's going to be over with your leadership and your trading policies. We're going to open all of these markets, and we're going to let our fishermen thrive and prosper, and we are going to have lower cost fish, more of it, and the freshest fish in the world. And this is just common sense for the United States of America.
So could I ask, it's so interesting. So you take these massive areas of water, and other countries are allowed to fish in them, right?
No. They sneak in, they poach.
So they're not allowed, but they do it because they don't care.
But they fish in their own zones, sir.
Yeah.
So we're systematically disadvantaging our fishermen by not allowing them to fish in parts of our exclusive economic zone, while other countries have their own exclusive economic zones, and they're fishing the heck out of those.
So they're totally benefiting.
Now that you're allowing the U.S. fishing fleet to fish, they also serve as observers. And when they see poachers, they report them to the authorities. And so they are a big help to the U.S. Coast Guard. And so it's great for our U.S. food security.
I mean, we should have a trade surplus of fish, and we have a big trade deficit.
It's crazy.
Because of all this. It's just crazy. It doesn't.
So he basically signed a new order saying that we can go fish in those waters now because we weren't able to fish there. And the same thing I was telling you about other countries, I thought that they were able to do it and we couldn't because of some law. Come to find out, they just was coming down poaching. Coming down, you know what, whatever. Ain't nobody gonna tell on us. We're gonna do what we wanna do. Reel them in, Joe. Going back to Canada. Yeah, that's what's been going on. So hey, maybe more fresh fish for you. Maybe a greater price. And these are areas that should be looked at. You know, don't look at fish and say, oh, he's talking about fish. It's food, it's seafood, and it's something that we consume. And why not take back control of our oceans? There's tons of fish out there, tons of money. Let's get that thing going again. What's that? What was that again? Wanted, dead or alive. We got the seamen out there throwing out them big old crab baskets and everything, making the water come, all that water come on the boats, and they out there getting all that money. That's money for the economy, for the U.S. economy. Go and get them back out there, get them blue crabs, get those oysters. Let's bring some money back into our country. You're gonna have me out there ready to bring in a couple of fish or whatever like that. Got to get our money back together. And there's nothing wrong with having good, fresh fish. Why not? More for you guys to eat, because I don't eat meat, but that's good for y'all. I'm just happy that y'all gonna get some new fresh fish. Keeping it moving, because now we gotta talk about, y'all ready for this? Doom, 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 doom. All about the Benjamins, baby. All about the Benjamins, baby. What you know about going out, Red Lex, headrest, TVs all up in the headrest. Bad, 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 bad boy. He really was a bad, bad boy. He really was a bad boy. And I can prove to you that I'm not him because I'm terrible at acting like him. So stop calling me Diddy. Now we're going to get into Sean Diddy Combs. He's due back in court for a pretrial hearing. Let's go, y'all. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And that dance was for y'all tips. The last people that dropped the tips, that dance move was for y'all. Don't think I forgot about y'all. I know I owed y'all a routine real quick, so I made sure I had to pay y'all.
Music mogul Sean Combs expected in court today as lawyers seek to delay his May 5th sex trafficking trial.
Christina Fan is live outside court in Lower Manhattan with details on what we can expect to happen. Christina.
Cindy and Mary, good morning. Attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs will be requesting for a judge to delay trial by 2 months, alleging that prosecutors have been slow to provide them with potential evidence, making it extremely difficult for them to be ready for trial in 3 weeks. Opening statements and jury selection were scheduled to begin next month, and while prosecutors oppose a delay, the judge overseeing this case says he'll hear arguments on the request later on this morning. Combs has been held without bail since his September arrest. In their letter, defense attorneys cited a failure by prosecutors to turn over potential trial evidence in a timely manner, including materials relating to a superseding indictment returned by a grand jury earlier this month. Combs faces a total of 5 counts, including racketeering, conspiracy, transportation to engage in prostitution, and sex trafficking. It's alleged he used threats, force, and coercion to get victims to engage in sex acts, once allegedly dangling a victim over an apartment balcony, according to prosecutors. Combs is expected to be present at his hearing, which is scheduled for later on this morning at 11 a.m.
Come on now, y'all gonna try to hit them with the vanilla ice too? You really hit them with the vanilla ice? I don't know if anybody ever, let me know if anybody know where I got this song from. A heart is a house of love. And I learned that it don't take much to break. A heart is a house of love. That was from a movie called The 5 Heartbeats, where they dangled the man off of the terrace by a record executive mogul named Big Red, right? I probably saw that movie. But if not, you've probably already heard the story of Suge Knight allegedly doing the same thing to who? Doom, 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 doom. Doom, doom, doom. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla Ice. So now, how many times y'all gonna regurgitate this story, trying to give it to Puffy and saying that he dangled somebody off the edge of a balcony? Who did it? He couldn't do it. He ain't got that much upper strength. So stop lying. No, that didn't happen. That's when it comes to the point where you're like, okay, all these stories is coming out about this person. That's actually going to weaken the case when all of these stories that we know that are possibly alleged and not believable. P. Diddy hanging somebody off of a ledge. You got to have a lot of internal muscles for that, a lot of upper body strength. I don't see that happening. I'm in the comments. What y'all got to say? Batty says, oh my God, and Eric Schramm, thank you. Happy Easter, everybody. Colby says he's got too much baby oil on his hands to hold someone off the side of a building. Yes, Colby, that's what I'm talking about. Please become a member. That was a banger right there. I'm going to say it again. Colby Bryan says he got too much baby oil on his hands to hold someone on the side of a building. The Blonde Cheddar is the most anticipated obituary Americans are waiting. Okay, 1010. What you got here? Tim Hart says, I said thank you at Kendra. Quakebox, are you enjoying the Trump show? What else we got? Almighty says Trump. Fred James, the 5 Heartbeats, Vanilla Ice, and Queen, right? Come on now. Job 4, thank you so much, y'all. $2 from Job 4, good looking. And he says, hit that like button. William says, as long as the gods are preach upon war, okay. Vic says, it's about tax evasion. Eric says, all just allegations. He at least deserves bond. Almighty says, go Trump. Frank is dying laughing. What else we got? Betty Spaghetti with the thumbs up. And Betty Spaghetti is a member, just like Kendra, right there at Job 9 for appreciate you. Sonia said, love the Trump show. Okay. William says, Diddy got plenty of guys that slip and slide with, he can slip and slide with now. Drum Forever says, shout out to the Samoans and the Mukana. That's right. Shout out to the Samoans. Let me tell you something. You don't want no beef with no Samoan at all. I was in Hawaii. I took a flight back. Let me tell you something about this one Samoan man that I saw. This was one of the largest men in the world that I've ever seen. He just stood like this. Like his feet was just planted. I'm talking about he had to be at least about 300 pounds, just big like crazy. He had like 8 kids. The littlest one was like 5'2". He was like 6 months old. I'm talking about huge. One of his legs looked like a tree trunk. Tell you, them Samoans, them some big dudes. I remember this crew called the Booyah Tribe back in the day. They used to rap. They used to look out for Ice Cube. Yes, nobody messed around with Ice Cube when he had the Booyah with him. And also a couple of other people ran with Booyah, Cypress Hill and them. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But we got to keep on going because I want to bring the people from Milwaukee to the front. Come on. This is a very funny story. This the one right here. Come on, Milwaukee, bring your ass to the front of the stage, Milwaukee. Because we got this man that's facing jail time for stealing a soda. Yeah. A 16-ounce soda from a gas station. He forgot that he was already going through negotiations with a DA about another case of stealing patrol cars. So you imagine you a cop, you get out to write somebody a ticket, you go back to your car and it's gone, or it drives right by you, and your man's like, yo, ain't that your patrol car? He did it 2 times, y'all. And guess what? Got away with it, almost had a negotiated deal, and then decided to steal a 16-ounce soda from the gas station. Watch this stunt right here. Throw his freedom in the garbage for a Pepsi. I hope that Pepsi was good, buddy. I hope it was good, because here we go. Let's go on over to Milwaukee.
Tonight at 10, a Milwaukee man who avoided jail time after stealing 2 police squads on 2 separate occasions is in trouble with the law again.
This time, investigators say he stole a soda, and he's facing serious jail time because of it. Ashley's here in the newsroom with how an alleged petty theft may shake up a previous agreement. Ashley?
Yeah, hi, Ted. Prosecutors had previously reached a deal with Daniel Barton after he was charged with stealing 2 police squads. That deal has now been revoked because of what happened at a gas station in Elm Grove. It almost seems unbelievable. This could happen twice.
Someone just stole my squad. Westbound and Zephyr.
Investigators say Daniel Barton stole 2 different police squads in 2 different areas, months apart.
Put your hands on your head!
First in Milwaukee in December of 2022, then again 6 months later in Shorewood.
Wait a minute. Was he standing inside of a garbage can? He tried to hide in a garbage can. It wasn't even a big one, y'all, like a dumpster. It's a literal garbage can. Like, come on, dude. Like, you really thought you was getting away? He's standing in a garbage can.
On your head!
First in Milwaukee in December of 2022, then again 6 months later in Shorewood.
So your squad? What the?
The 36-year-old reached a deal with prosecutors and avoided any jail time. But now the Milwaukee man is in trouble again. Last Friday, as the Elm Grove police chief and assistant chief were inside the Jilly's gas station on Blue Mound, they say they saw Barton steal a soda, walk out of the doors, and onto a bus. A criminal complaint explains surveillance video also captured the theft. When the officers confronted him on the bus, they say he started yelling obscenities at them and became aggressive, saying, "Write the ticket and let me go." And yeah, I gulped that expletive down. Prosecutors say he challenged another officer to a fight and called him vulgar names. He was eventually taken away in cuffs and booked in the Waukesha County Jail. A man who avoided doing time for stealing squads, finding it's a stolen soda that got him popped.
Ooh, that was a good one. A stolen soda got him popped. And what's the pun in that? Soda pop. Yeah, y'all, that's what I'm talking about now. You tell me that wasn't funny. I'm coming to the comments on that. Come on, y'all. What y'all got? Okay, nope. He don't deserve a ticket. He deserved to go to jail with P. Diddy. Rabbit says, Mad Hatter said, Rabbit Raccoon. Water is life. Sonia says, Black never. Betty Spaghetti says, I kind of like him. What we got here? What we got? He has psychosis. That's what Fred says. Fred James says he has psychosis. Rebel says, was a hot day. It was a hot day. Betty Spaghetti dying laughing. I'm glad that you're happy and enjoying the content for your membership. I'm so happy you getting what you deserve here. William, the almighty dollar does a lot of bad things. People take the money and cry wolf later. Mad Hatter hiding like a raccoon. Black 999, Dr. Pepper, you drink when you're out of Pepsi. Okay, yeah. Sonia says Pepsi and Coke both taste bad, and Orange Crush of A&W. Okay, Guy is hilarious. What else we got? Rabbit says motherfuckers crazy. What we got here? We got Tim says just a few years ago they would have given him an award. Okay, Kobe says and Dr. Pepper is better than both. Uh-oh. They got a beef going on. What soda's better here, y'all? Dr. Pepper or Pepsi? I don't know what this man did. Seems all one-sided to me. Lots of allegations. Garbage can. Yeah, Rebecca, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. Laughing my ass off. Everybody dying off of this. Yeah, the boys, LOL. Betty says, ha ha. Yo, that was bananas, y'all. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff going on here. Crazy. What else we got? Hugh says, my pronouns are deport illegals. Big Aaron, looks like you're taking back shots from Trump, fam. Okay, Big Aaron, boom, out of here. See ya, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Sorry, Aaron, you're out of here. Love some Orange Crush or Strawberry Crush, says Tim Harsh. All right, y'all, since y'all want to talk about soda, let me know what your favorite soda is right now. What is your favorite soda if you drink soda? We're going to do that real quick since everybody want to talk about soda, since Homeboy really got y'all thinking about a soda right now. What's your favorite soda? Let's go. Cherry Crush, that was Colby. I feel sorry for the man. Sonia says, thank God Trump won. Root beer for Deport MAGA. Elvis says Pepsi. Rebecca says ginger ale. Bill says, Sauce says Fago. Okay, Colby says, truth. Hit that likes. Bill Andy says Diet Coke. Donovan, okay, most jobs lost in the first 3 months in the history, overtaking Hubert Hoover. Okay, we got Mountain Dew for Rabid Gunman. We got Kendra says the best. That's right, y'all. Pepsi. We got Real Lemonade. Mountain Dew from Chris. We got Squirt from Gregory. Y'all drink some soda over here, boy. Legend said he liked to drink Ciroc. We got Batty Lynn that says Cherry Coke, Black Rack Lemonade. Betty Spaghetti says, Samuel, don't sleep on RC Cola. Oh, and don't sleep on RC Cola. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. Do not sleep on RC Cola. But we are at that point that I want you guys, if you appreciate the content, let's go ahead and double tap that screen to get those likes up. Also, if you haven't become a member, become a member. Come hang out with us all day, every day. Hit up that post notification button to let you know when we're on. Also, go into the descriptions right now. You got a chance of making $750. Go into the description right now. There's 2 surveys in there. One for $500 and the other one is for $200. Fill out the survey, send it in, see if you can make some money. I'm gonna make $25 every time you guys make money. So we all gonna be happy to make some money, 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 money. Some people got to have it. Hey. Some people really need it. And that's why we doing that Show Your Talent search. And that's going to be in all 5 boroughs of New York. Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens, and Staten Island. I want to see your talent. I'm going to be hosting this event. That's me right there, right? So you guys are going to come out. Show me what your specific talent is. I don't care if you know how to cook, if you know how to dance or sing. This is category list. It's every single category. And if you have the best talent in your borough, boom, I'm going to give you $250, right? And then we do the grand finale where everybody comes together from all boroughs and they win $1,000. You guys go up to the website, www.drinkbigdrip.com. Must be 21 and older to participate because it's alcohol. But I definitely want you guys to be a part of this. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be hosting so that we can get to know each other. So we get a chance to hang out, y'all. Show your talent search. Come into the 5 boroughs. Then we're going to be replicating this all throughout the states. So you will get a chance to hang out with me, make some money, and we're going to have a good time, y'all. Like I always tell you, y'all could have went anywhere. But the fact of the matter that y'all came here, I appreciate you. We had a fantastic show. Great movements. We got tomorrow, which is what? Easter. Hope you guys have a good holiday. Stay safe. Whatever you're doing today, make it your best because you had another chance to be above ground. Check this out. What I always tell you guys, problems present opportunity. Stop looking at problems like, oh, it's so bad. Oh, we got so much. Whoa, you're always moping. Don't mope. look at a problem as half the solution as being already told. Because you got the problem, you already know what the problem is. So now you got half the answer right there. The hard part is figuring out the solution. But the beautiful part of everything is you're here to be able to do it. That's the first gift of life. Being able to wake up in the morning, being able to express yourself and be with your family and your people. So let's not deter. Let's not look at that as a small thing. Let's stay happy and energized and appreciate today. It's the weekend. It's Saturday. Get outside. The weather's nice. Even if it ain't, go outside and get some air. Get some breathing healthy air. Get yourself out there. Drink some water. Take care of yourself, y'all. Because y'all know where we're going to be at tomorrow, right? Right here. Back on Our Bottom Line. Doing what we do. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Batty. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I really hope you guys had a fantastic show in those comments. I see you guys always communicating with everybody. That makes me happy and let me know that I'm doing my job. With that being said, y'all already know what it is. Y'all could have went anywhere. But the fact of the matter that you came here to chill with me, I appreciate you. So until tomorrow, y'all already know what it is. Get 'em! One.